Hello everyone. So many of you have reached out to me asking about what should be the strategy for next year because you have already decided based on some valid factors that you will be appearing for UPSC civil service examination in the year of 2027. Those who have already filled up the form for the year of 2026 and have decided that yes, you're going to appear in 2026, you need to skip this video. This is not for you. Now, moving on, this strategy session is not going to be a detailed one, but just an overall bird's eye view perspective on how you should be preparing and the years, the 2026 and 27, both, how it should look like, especially the months of the year 2026, what you should be doing at what, in which month, at what period of time, right? So we all know that if yes, your attempt is in the year of 2027, you won't start studying in the year 2027. You have to prepare beforehand. I hope that's clear to you, right? Okay. So, what should be the plan? Today is 17th February, and should you switch to prelims? Should you study for mains? What should be the plan? So, through month wise, I will be walking you with a strategy, with some, pointers, with some guidance, so that you know that what actions needs to be taken every month or in specific period of time so that you are well prepared even if your attempt is in the next year. Now, UPSC hasn't released the calendar because it usually releases its calendar for the examination date in the month of January and February. So you can easily expect that for 2027, the calendar would be out next year in the month of Jan or Feb. But keeping in mind the particular trends of the last few years, we can safely assume that your prelims exam would be in the month of May, that is in the year 2027, and you would be writing your mains in the month of August 2027, right? Plus minus 5-10 days here and there could happen, okay? And if there's something different due to any situation, they are bound to change the dates. Of course, it will be revealed well in time. But safely, as of now, sitting in February 2026, we can assume that our prelims is going to be next year in the month of May, similar to what has been happening up till now, and your mains in August. But what will you be doing in the entire year of 2026? Would you go and take a vacation? Would you stop studying? Would you dwell into the feeling that, yes, I have to appear next year, so let me relax, let me study as per my own, speed and will. I don't have to hurry, I don't have to rush. No, that's not what you should be actually, keeping in mind. You should not be following this perspective. So let's get into this. But before we discuss, we need to first understand that there could be, or there actually is, two categories of students who are going to appear next year. What are those categories? The first category is, of course, those students who have completed their foundation or are going to complete their foundation. That means currently, standing on February 2026, some of you might have completed your foundation. You are a fresher. 2027 is going to be your first attempt. Or your foundation might get completed in the upcoming months of April and May, depending on what course and what institute you have joined. So that's the first category. What's the second category? The second category is of that student who has appeared earlier, either has given prelims attempt or even has written one mains, and might have got a feeling that due to certain factors, she is not well prepared and needs a sufficient amount of time to prepare for the exam and will be giving their next attempt in the year 2027. So these are the two categories, and we will be discussing strategy keeping in mind these two categories of students. Okay, now let's move onwards. So first we need to understand and plan according to the months. So this is your months of the year 2026. Okay, we are in February, so I've listed down February, March, April, May. 24th May, of course, people who are appearing, who have filled up the form for 2026, their exam is on 24th May, right? But I would recommend that you need to study in these months, keeping in mind that you are appearing this year, because that's only how you would be able to focus, you would stay disciplined, you will be able to complete the syllabus. So keep in mind that your exam is in this year itself, 24th May, and you've got these months to prepare. Right? Now, coming to the month of June, July, August, again, people who are appearing this year, they will have their mains exam in the month of August, right? In the end of August. But you also have to prepare in such a way that you are telling yourself that my mains exam is going to happen in the month of August. But post that, what would happen? You would have these months, September, October, November, December, for the year of 2026. What would you be doing in these months? So actually, I have tried to categorize it. You could see that I have clubbed few months together, and separately I have tried to tell you that what you could be following. So actually, for you, the entire year is getting divided into three categories. Okay, the first bundle, the first combination of months, February, March, April, May, you're going to prepare for prelims examination. Either you're still undergoing your foundation is completed, or you have written your mains, you're waiting for the mark sheet and all. Whatever is the situation, this is what you're supposed to follow. Okay, and these months, September, October, November, December, again you will be studying for mains. Okay, so what is the first learning or the first strategy point, which is that we are going to follow the same cycle in the year of 2026. Yes, our exam is next year, but for you, you will be disciplined, you will be studying in this the same way that a student who's going to write the exam this year is studying. Why? Because you need to stay in the same competition. If you're going to isolate yourself thinking that, okay, I have to give my exam next year, I have a lot of time in my hand, I'm sorry to say you're going to waste time, you're going to grow, complacent, you will be totally indisciplined, and sooner the months of October, November would hit, and you would feel that, oh my God, the entire year has been wasted. I have not studied properly, and you will start panicking. So, even if you're appearing next year, this year is equally important. I've never seen toppers getting ranks in the current year, just studying in the current year. Their efforts are going back more than 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, behind in the past. So if they're, topper of 2025 or 2026, that means they have been studying since 2023 and even 2024 or even beyond that. So don't take your attempt for granted. Even if it's next year, you have to study this year with full-fledged focus, with a lot of discipline, and tell this to your mind that your exam is not next year, it's in the same year, in the year of 2026. Okay. So that's what you're supposed to know, that you have to follow the same cycle. The same cycle means you have to follow prelims till May, which I mentioned, and mains till November. Okay, I will be detailing this again, right? The same thing. Now, let's get a little bit into, details that, okay, what should be the approach. Now, for prelims, because I mentioned that in these months, from February to May, we would be focusing on prelims. Okay, what would you be doing? You would be preparing all your basics. That means all the static subject needs to be completed. When I say static, all those subjects like polity, economy, modern history, ancient, medieval, art and culture, you've got science, technology, you've got environment, geography, all that needs to be prepared. So fix your sources, fix your standard textbook, fix your material, and aim to complete the syllabus. If you have done it before, you have studied for prelims before in your previous attempts, it might come across these tasks as easy for you. Good. If you're a student who has just completed foundation, I understand, I empathize, this is going to be a little challenging, but that's what the aim is. So at least aim for one round of covering of the basics. For students who have already given multiple attempts, or maybe has given one prelims, one mains, you could aim for multiple revisions, right? So you're supposed to cover the basics, okay, in these months. You are supposed to do current affairs also. Now, you would ask me that because our exam is next year, why should I prepare current affairs now? I would do it later on. But see, UPSC Civil Services examination is not about the current affairs. It's not like other exams who focus on the past 4, 5, 6 months to ask current affairs. It's about issues, and issues sometimes linger on for more than 12 months. So even if your attempt is in the year of 2027, ideally you should be covering current affairs from January onwards. This is the bare minimum. If you want to go backwards, your call, but at least that means if your prelims exam is in the month of May in the year of 2027, you have to cover your current affairs from January of 2026. Okay, so you have to be regular with current affairs. You can't ignore it, you can't postpone it that okay, I'll be doing it later on. Whatever is possible for you, you want to do it with newspaper, that's okay. You want to do it with monthlies, that's okay too. Okay, but what's essential? You have to do current affairs. That's what is important. Okay, then the previous year questions. So for all the subjects, you should be covering previous year questions. My suggestion would be that you could go for any institute's solved previous year question compilation. You have to go for the 10-year. Okay, that's the bare minimum for all these subjects. So you have to also do simultaneously previous year question. That means if you're studying geography, if you're studying environment, you have to cover previous year questions for that subject also. Okay, and you have to do it in detail. It's not just about knowing the right option or the correct answer for the previous year question. It's about knowing its detail. And it's also about knowing that why other options are not holding true, right? That's what detailed previous year question analysis looks like. Then if you really want to be in the competition, you really don't want to risk your 2027 attempt, then you need to also appear for mocks this year. That means in 2026 itself, you will be writing few mocks. You want to be part of some paid test series, okay? You want to go for some open mocks, that's also, all right. If you want to, buy it from somewhere, maybe Telegram and this and there, whatever is your source, but do practice mocks. If you want to go for sectionals, please do it, because when you're covering subjects, when you're covering basics, if you're doing polity, do the sectional test of polity. If you're doing economy, do the sectional test of economy, but you have to write the mocks also. If you're comfortable, then go for the FLT, the open mocks, the entire syllabus. If not, at least be in the habit of practicing sectional mocks. When I say sectional, that means subject-wise mocks, right? So that whatever you're studying as basic, whatever is your fundamental concepts getting clear, you are testing that conceptual clarity through the practice of multiple choice questions and objective questions. Okay, so basically the idea is that you have to keep in mind that you are preparing for 2026 and you are going to do everything similar to that person who is going to write his exam in this year. Okay, so yes, But in what intensity, in what frequency, of course, your background will decide. In the sense that if you're a very new student who's got the first attempt next year, then of course, managing all of this together would be difficult. At least aim to cover the basics. For you, the priority would be, I would recommend, the priority is to covering the basics, doing current affairs through newspaper or monthly, whatever is possible for you, and little bit of previous year questions to understand that, okay, how UPSC has been asking questions, and these sectional subject wise mocks. Okay, so intensify doing the basic, little bit of current affairs on daily basis, and the previous year questions. Okay, and here and there few sectionals if you're attempting, that would be good. Like, okay, maybe, let me attempt some 50 questions of polity, let me see 50 questions of economy. In that way, you will be in the process of attempting questions, solving multiple choice questions, because that's going to be very, very important. Solving questions gives you conceptual clarity. It also trains your mind for the UPSC pattern. It also helps you understand where are the shortcomings in learning, where are the gaps. You might forget something, you might realize that you're committing mistakes in the basics. So this means what? You need multiple revisions. So all that awareness would be there when you're solving questions. Okay. So this is what is important. Then, keeping in mind, we are doing all of this because we need to compete with the prelims 2026 appearing students. Don't isolate yourself. Don't get complacent. Don't feel that your exam is next year. Yes, it is. But to stay in the competition, you have to prepare just like the others are preparing. What's the purpose here? Because I want you to solve the prelims paper on 24th May. Yes, you won't be going to an examination center to appear, but should it stop you from not solving the paper? You should solve it. So you get those, the papers are there in Telegram. Like by 12 noon, you will get the paper, on Telegram. You download it, you take the printout, you solve it. You test yourself that if by chance I was giving the attempt this year in 2026, will I stand a chance? Will I be able to attempt questions? What shortcomings are there in my preparation? Because we have been preparing, right? We have been preparing in these months. So it's logical to test yourself in the month of May with the actual UPSC paper, right? Okay. Now moving on. So you've done all this. Now you will stop your prelims preparation in the month of May, right? Then you will switch to mains. So because we are following the same cycle, so what you're supposed to do is that for mains, now you get 2 seasons. Okay, you get 2 blocks of time. The first block is where the actual mains will happen for the 2026 appearing students. That is June, July, August. 3 months time. Okay. There's second block of time which you will be getting because you are appearing next year. That would be what? September, October, November. So effectively, you are getting 3 plus 3, 6 months. Okay. And 6 months is good enough time to complete your main syllabus, not just GS 1 to 4, but even your optional. And if possible, you should be aiming for 2 rounds of revision. Okay. Now let's get into the detail of that. So June, July, August, yes, you have to prepare your GS 1 to 4, all the 4 GS papers which are being asked in mains. Prepare that syllabus, prepare notes, consolidate your notes, and start answer writing practice. This is very, very essential. Don't assume that you have just completed your foundation. 27 is just your first attempt. So you don't know how to write answers. You don't know how to write this and that. You will not make excuses. Yes, nobody who's going to write the first answer knows how to write the answer. You improve with time. You improve with multiple practices. You improve when you go for iterations of revision and answer writing practice. It would never happen in one go. And please also don't assume that you will first complete the entire syllabus and then you would start answer writing. That's a bad strategy. We used to follow it 10 years back, but now it really doesn't matter. Why? Because you can't expect to know and cover everything from conceptual, perspective, and in the exam you will see all 20 questions coming from static. No, you will be facing certain questions where the question is dynamic. It could be from an area where you don't have an understanding, you don't know what is it exactly. Still, you should be able to write something. So if you're going to assume that let me finish my syllabus, then I would write answers. That's strategy which is going to backfire. Yes, of course, you have to complete a little bit of syllabus. For example, if you are, studying internal security, for that matter, or if you are studying agriculture, of course, cover the basic topics like, marketing, agriculture marketing, or you could, you need to study about MSP, you need to study about food processing, you need to know, okay, what is the input side, what is the output side, like, the upward and the downward linkages and all that. So yes, cover the basics, but don't think that I would need to first perfect everything and then I would start answer writing practice. Because, for example, if today I study land reforms, and from my basic notes, from my basic material, I have covered land reforms. I know what it is. And tonight, if I write an answer on it, I would realize something. What would I realize? I would realize that I studied the basic, I know the points, but I don't know how to write introduction, conclusion. What would you realize? That maybe you're able to recollect only 3, 4 points out of the 5, 6 points that you're supposed to write. Maybe you would realize that you had imagined that you would be completing the answer within 7 minutes, but you were not able to. You took 10 minutes or even double the time. So, all this realization, when it starts happening simultaneously with your preparation, the scope of improvement would be there. If you're waiting for linearly following, the preparation, that let me complete A, then I will move to B, then I will move to C, no, that's how you're going to waste your time and you're going to panic towards the end of the year. So it's better that your practice should start. Yes, complete a basic syllabus in the sense 2, 4 topics, you read it, you prepare notes, you revise it, and then have a look at the previous year question. If I have a previous year question being asked from the topic of land reforms or food processing, or for that matter, you could say internal security, so cyber security, border management, even left-wing extremism. Last year, there was a question on left-wing extremism, right? Naxalism. So prepare that basic topic, but start writing the answers. Because the first step of answer writing is not about perfection. It's about understanding what the question is about. It's about knowing how to address the demand of the topic, demand of the question. It's about knowing what better introduction, conclusion can be written. It's knowing in how many parts am I supposed to answer the question. Will it be just one subhead or 2, 3 subheads? How many points should I be writing? And even if you know that you're supposed to write 5, 6 points, you could only recollect 3 points. This would tell you what? That you need more revision because your recollection, your memory is weak with respect to that topic. So all of this, unless you start doing, you will not realize. And if the realization will not hit now, it will hit later on when the time won't be there. The sufficient time won't be there. If you are going to start your answer writing practice in the month of October, November, it's going to be late because October, November is for value addition. It's about writing the question answer on land reforms for the second time and writing a better answer than the first time. Right? So that's what the perspective is. So yes, you have to prepare. That means the conceptual clarity needs to be there. You need to complete your syllabus. You also need to prepare your notes. If not 100%, at least aim for 75 to 80% of the syllabus you should be possessing notes for it, and the daily answer writing practice. And this daily answer writing practice is not just for your GS, it's also for your optional. Yeah, maybe what you can do is you can divide that, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would go for GS answer writing practice. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, I would go for my optional answer writing practice. But you are practicing answers on daily basis because in mains exam, it's all about writing answers. It's never about how much material you have referred, how many nodes, different registers you possess, how many test series you were part of. It's just about what kind of answers you're writing, because the UPSC validator will be assessing you, will be judging you on the basis of that. What answers, what quality of answers you're writing. So if you're not doing it on daily basis, then you will really going to find it difficult to improve on the answer writing part. Okay. Then in the months of September to November, depending on what kind of student you are, in the sense that if you're a student who has just done the foundation, who's covering the GS mains syllabus for the first time, maybe this won't be your second revision, but it would be a continuing, completion. You'll be continuing the completion of the syllabus, right? For people who have already appeared, the September to November time would be the best time for second round of revision and going for value addition. So yes, I understand that students who are appearing for the first time next year, that means you're just, out of the foundation, completing everything in just 3 months would be difficult for you. Please take your time. Maybe what you can do is you can take June, July, August, September, even October. Okay, take these 4-5 months time to complete the syllabus. Okay, properly. And this goes even for your optional. Okay, do answer writing practice, make the notes, consolidate everything that you have been learning. Okay, and then later on in the month of October, November, December, you could go for revision. Okay, so maybe this part of September, this month of September is getting shifted over here. So September, October also you're studying, you're completing the syllabus. November, December, you could again go for the second revision. Okay, makes sense. So this is how you're supposed to plan, right? Now let's move onwards. Now another one, basic question that I get is, what courses, programs, should I join something in the current year or should I wait for next year? So I would say that, see, joining or not joining is your personal decision, but to stay disciplined, to stay on track, and to stay in the competition, you should be doing some initiatives. Now you want to be part of paid, unpaid initiatives, that's your call. You want to be, part of a paid program, you want to join one course, that's okay, you can do so. But which programs and which initiatives you should be part of, let's discuss that. Okay, so joining everything, I would not recommend that. Okay, that any other course, every other course is, getting launched and you have, paid fees over there, because then you are just putting yourself at the mercy of all those courses, and doing courses is not a guarantee of success. So few courses, few test series, of course we would be doing, but do not join everything. Do not make your schedule so packed that you're not getting time for self-study. In all these months, please give or keep sufficient time for self-study. So if you're enrolled into any program, any classroom-based program, any test series, self-study is one component which is going to be the major component of your schedule, of your routine, right? Okay. So if you feel that your foundation hasn't covered the basics of the mains portion, maybe they skipped doing governance, they didn't cover society, they didn't cover ethics, then for conceptual clarity to cover the syllabus, if you feel that you can't do these subjects on your own, you can join some classes. So for the static GS, you can, if you feel if there's a need, then you can go for the conceptual clarity, some classes you can join. Okay, but do be selective with it. Don't sit in the front of the laptop or sit in the classes and feel confident that yes, because now I'm enrolled into this program, everything is sorted. No, it's your career, you have to put in the effort. Sitting in a program, attending an online class is not a guarantee. Okay, so please be choosy, be selective, that, and be aware that yes, where you need that conceptual clarity, where you need to actually need classes. So yes, if you need, please go for them. If you don't need, you can skip them. But you need to add one daily answer writing initiative program. Okay, it could be paid, unpaid, again, Telegram, any source, that's your choice. Okay, we have many options in this world, but some daily answer writing initiatives have to be done. Okay, it could be done if you've got a good disciplined peer, you could do it amongst yourself. If you think that somebody is running a program, go for that. Okay. But yes, directly, indirectly, paid, unpaid, it doesn't matter. You need to go for daily answer writing practice. Okay. Now, what you could do is, and when you're supposed to do this, if your classes are going on, of course, because it will stretch the classes, they take up a lot of time, they go on for months. So if you have enrolled for classes, of course, you have to keep on track with that. Like it might be continuing for 4 5 months. That's okay. If you're doing these daily answer writing initiatives, then I would recommend that enroll yourself for the month of June and July, because here you need to keep yourself disciplined. So if you have a daily accountability, when you're forced, there's an external force of writing answers, then you would be staying on track, you will be studying properly. So if you're doing a daily answer writing initiative in the month of June, July, you would, through this you will be able to complete your syllabus. Through this you will be able to stay on track, right? Because usually what I've seen, students tend to fall dull, or like they tend to not be very disciplined, or they are not studying properly for many hours. They are just studying for 2 3 hours, or sometimes they are there are other exams, and they are appearing for other plan B and this and that exam, and that is a distracting factor. But if you've got a plan, a commitment going on of daily answer writing practice, you would be doing the best, you would be doing justice to it, right? So that's what I'll recommend. What you can do is that, but we need to understand also that daily answer writing practice is okay, you have to do that, but you should be also enrolling into some GS test series. Now, everything will be, of course, depending on what kind of, financial situation you are in, what kind of plans you can afford, what kind of programs you can afford. But at least this is something that is a low cost program. So you should be enrolling for this. Okay. You should be following this. And sometimes it's even done, in a free way. You could be part of that. If you're deciding to join GS test series, I would recommend join something which starts in July. Okay, June, July, December, because first you're supposed to cover the syllabus. So if you haven't covered the syllabus, then writing test series would not be the the suggested way. But if you have a test series which is spaced out, in the sense that maybe every Sunday or every 10th day you've got a test going on for mains, then in that scenario you would be able to complete your syllabus. So GS test series, which is distributed over the period of 6 to 8 months, and is starting in July and continuing till December. Sometimes most of the test series, when they start, like for example, even in the year of 2026, if you're joining a test series, they might give you validity till your mains next year. That is, the program is valid till mains of 2027. So if that is the program you're joining, that's also good enough, you could go for that. But don't join something without studying and without completing the syllabus. Okay, that is why for me this is more important, and this is an option, this is not compulsion. A full-fledged GS test series is something that I'm giving you as an option, depending on what kind of student you are. If you are a student who has done just the foundation right now, is very fresh, it's going for first attempt, then I think daily answer writing practice is more relevant for you. If you are a student in the other category who has given mains, has given prelims attempt, want to test himself over a 3 hour full length test, 20 questions, then you can go for the GS test series. But whatever you are trying to enroll, you need to understand that it should be distributed over the period of these months, 6 to 8 months. Okay, then yes, even the same goes for optional test series, depending on what kind of optional subject you have, and whatever coaching for that optional subject is offering you, what kind of programs. I would recommend joining optional test series in the month of September onwards. Like, don't join in the month of June, July. Cover your optional subject properly in the month of June, July, August, and then post that, test yourself, go for the second round of revision through the test series. So optional test series, I would say September onwards you could join, and in this way your load will lessen, because your daily answer writing initiative you're completing in the month of June, July, maybe it will continue till August, that's fine. GS test series and optional test series around the months of July, and especially optional September onwards. So when you're doing in this way, you will be able to manage. Don't join all the 3-4 programs together. I've seen many students doing that. No, please don't confuse yourself with so much of commitment. You will not be able to fulfill all those commitments. Please keep a major block, a major chunk of time for self-study. Okay, you shouldn't be running from one institute to another institute just for appearing for test. Okay, so don't make your schedule so hectic. Again, I'm repeating, what the best thing that you could do is, in the main season you could focus on daily answer writing initiatives. Usually they start in June, they wrap up till July or the first week of August. Okay, so that is a very nice time to go for daily answer writing programs and initiatives. You want to do it yourself, you can refer to previous year questions. You want to go through paid programs, that's your call. Okay, post that, what you could do, that if any GS test series is getting launched which is having its major tests aligned in the months of July, August, September, October, November, December, then you could join that. And usually these GS test series have a validity till 2027. So they will be continuing till mains 2027, and that makes sense, right? So you could do that. Similarly, the optional test series, depending on what kind of optional subject you have, which coaching institute you are going to, then of course you can go for this September onwards. Sometimes they launch certain programs post mains. Okay, so what they would do when they are done with because the hectic schedule of mains time, so post August for the next year in the month of September, October, the coaching institutes launch the test series for optionals. So it could be September, it could be October too. You could join the test series over here. Again, not compulsion. Okay, not compulsion, but answer writing practice is what is essential. If you don't want to invest a lot of you could say money into paid test programs and all of that, that's fine. Go for self practice, go for previous year question practice. You can join optional test series when you're actually writing the mains next year, right? So post prelims in the year of 2027, you can join optional test series. If your coaching institute is offering you a program where they are conducting an optional test series which starts from October and continues till mains of 2027, that's fine. Then you can also join that. If they are starting in October but they are wrapping till maybe Jan or Feb, okay, so that's also fine. You need to see what is suiting you and what is being offered to you. Take a decision according to that. Similarly, the current affairs, okay, because this is just about what kind of courses, programs, test series you should be doing. So I am mentioning all of them, which is a possibility, but I am not asking you to join all of them. I am just giving you options depending on what is your requirement. If you feel that I could cover the current affairs on my own, self-study, well and good. If you feel that no, I need some external support of current affairs program, okay, usually in the month of October, there will be batches for 2027. You can join that, right? But don't join all, please. And I've told you in which months what should be your focus. In the month of June, July, August first week, daily answer writing program initiative, that would be best. Post, July onwards or August onwards, if you could enroll for a GS test series, which has validity till your mains 2027, that is also a good thing. Optional test series, your choice, not a compulsion. But if you want to enroll into a test series, go for it. If you want to wait for your post prelims time, that is also fine. But keep on practicing answer writing for your optional too. Okay, don't skip that. And the same goes for current affairs. But what's important? Doing current affairs. You would not skip that. You would not feel that, okay, next year I have my exam, I'll do current affairs next year. No, that's not how the examination works. That's not how the preparation should look like. Okay, so do the current affairs. Then I have written it over here, essay, because I get many queries that when should we start practicing writing essays, and should we continue writing essays, should we stop writing essays, what's the best time to practice essays. I would say post your prelims exam, if you've got a basic understanding of essay writing, you should start essay writing practice. If you haven't got a basic understanding of essay writing, first watch few videos to understand how you're supposed to write the essay in UPSC. Okay, so write essays. It could be the previous year questions. I would recommend that you should practice definitely the previous year questions. You could go for evaluation feedback depending on many programs and initiatives are there. Even I launched my own, previous year question evaluation batch. But this batch happens only in the months of October, November, December, those months. Okay, so you could go for that, or even if you don't want to join any program, that's perfectly all right. You could go for peer assessment, self review. Okay, that's also. But what is important is practicing and writing essays, and that should start from the month of June onwards. So, June to December, you should be writing essays. How frequently? Maybe every 10 days, maybe in a month, twice you're writing the essays, every 15 days, your choice. Every weekend, I think, won't be possible, but every 10th day, that means 3 essays in a month. Every 15 days, that means 2 essays in a month. That's good frequency. Keep on working on previous year questions. June to November, June to December, you could practice essays. Okay, so don't skip writing essays, because GS paper, yes, 250 marks each. Optional paper, 250 marks each. Essay is also 250 marks. So you would not be ignoring essay. And I feel, and I believe, I firmly believe in this, that essay practice, when distributed over a period of time, would give you better benefit, would give you better perspective, would actually help you improve the essay writing, rather than clubbing and writing all the essays within the period of 2 months, 60 days. That's a bad strategy. Don't club everything together, because you won't have time to improve. You won't have time to sit and have a look at your previous essay to understand what could be improved. So when you space it out, when you practice essays over a long period of time, you are giving yourself that chance, that opportunity to understand that what should be the improvement. Where can I improve? Where's the scope of improvement? How can I write a better essay? But if you're writing, as part of any test series, you're writing 4 essays, in 2 weeks, that's not how you would improve. It's just that you're, ticking off the boxes. You're just sort of completing because you have to complete as part of the test series, right? So space it out. The same logic applies for your GS test also. The same logic applies for your optional test also, apart for FLTs. So whenever you've got your sectionals or subject-wise or paper-wise test going on, space it out. You should be knowing that if you have appeared for GS1 paper, what mistakes you have done, what is the shortcoming over there, how you could improve, where is the scope of improvement, work upon it, and then again reattempt or go for another GS1 paper. There should be gap in that, because if you're not improving, then why you're writing the test? We are not just writing test because we have paid certain amount of fees and money. We are writing the test because we want to write good quality answers in our mains. And the improvement will happen when you're giving yourself that time to actually assess your writing style. What could be the improvement? If you're not giving yourself that time, then what's the purpose? Everything feels defeated then, right? Okay, so this is what overall you should be understanding and keeping in mind with respect to enrollment into courses, programs, test series, this and that. Okay, now I'm going to again focus on the mains aspect, right? So from the mains perspective, and this is of course these months are for the year of 2026. Okay, so June, July, August, preferably aim for the first round. That means by August, by the mains for the people of 2026, you should be done with your first round. Then begin your second round in the month of September. Okay, September, October, November, go for second round. For people who are very new to this UPSC preparation, you could do what? You could go for June, July, August, okay, September, October. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, June, July, August, September, October. Take your time, take these 4-5 months to complete the syllabus. Okay, and then November, December, go for the second round of revision. Okay, the second round. Makes sense? Feels doable? Yes, yes, it is doable and it should be doable. If you study properly, 4-5 months is enough, good enough time to complete the GS4 papers, GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right. So multiple revisions. So actually, we are aiming for 2 rounds of revisions because our perspective is, our guideline is to go for multiple revisions, and we are giving ourselves scope to add value, because unless until we complete the first round, we can't add value in the second round. जब कमी ही पता नहीं है तो improvement कहाँ से करेंगे? So second round is for the improvement, right? So please wrap up your first round as soon as possible. That is the first method. This is the second method. Okay, and go for content enrichment. So all of this adding value, content enrichment, is going to happen in the second round, and is possible only when you are aiming for multiple revisions, multiple rounds. Okay, now what if you've got another exam? What if there's a state service exam? What if there's some, other UPSC exams, RBI, SEBI, NABARD, many exams do come up. Some state service exams would also be, queued up. So then what? Yes, of course, then our strategy, whatever we have decided right now, up till now, it might be, it needs to be changed. It might require some modification. So we would reorient, we would modify our strategy depending on what kind of exams we have. So first of all, every individual should be knowing that you are committed to give which kind of exams. You should be having an awareness that, okay, my state service, for example, that's why I've given you an example over here, that UPPCS for this year is going to be conducted, the prelims would be in the month of December. December 6th, they have already released the calendar, they have already released the date. That means your UPPCS prelims is going to happen in the month of December and on 6th of December. This means that for the months of October and November, that means in 2026, the October and November, you have to switch to prelims, because if your prelims exam for UPPCS state service exam is in December, you at least need to study for good 2 months, and you're studying October and November for prelims. But earlier we decided that we should be doing our mains in October, November, right? So how would you change? Because we have to shift to prelims. So what you can do is, what's the best possible way? Yes, do your mains till September. That means you started off in June. June to September, you will be doing your mains. You will switch to prelims in the month of October, November. Give your exam in the December, on December 6th, actually, in the first week of December. Post that, you switch to mains. That means after 6th December, 7th December onwards, and January, again you can prepare for mains. Because here we lost out 2 months for mains. Earlier we had planned, okay, we will be devoting these 2 months for mains. Now, because our exam is on December 6th, we have to switch to prelims because we need to prepare for UPPCS prelims, right? We will be preparing modern history, geography from prelims perspective. So these 2 months can be compensated when you switch to mains, when you prepare for mains in the month of December, January. It will be easy. Why? Because you have been in touch. So October, November, you were studying prelims. You can invest 2 months, December, January for mains. February, again, now here, this is your 2027. So this is February of 2027. This is, of course, January of 2027. So December 2026, January 2027, prepare mains, and from February onwards, you start preparing for prelims again. In this way, you will be able to manage. Okay, this doesn't mean that if on December 6th, our prelims exam is there or any other state service exam is there, so we will start prelims preparation from the month of the October, November, and we will continue it till May next year. No, nobody should be preparing for so many months for prelims. So October, November, prepare for prelims, give the exam on December 6th, December, January, post the exam, December, January, prepare for mains. February, switch to prelims. February, March, April, you've got sufficient time to do prelims. Okay, this is how you're supposed to manage. I've just taken up an example. There could be multiple exams. Please plan accordingly. That is why individually you should be knowing that you are committed to give what kind of exams in the year of 2026. If there is no exam for you, you are free, then you will be following the schedule that I've already discussed. Okay, and if there are multiple commitments, please figure it out what kind of commitments you have, how many exams are there, in which months, what is the probable date, probable month of conduction of that particular exam, and then plan. But it doesn't mean that for these exams, these other exams, you would not prepare for UPSC. No, it doesn't work like that. It's you who have decided to appear for multiple exams, so you need to prepare for those exams. You can't skip UPSC, you can't skip preparing for UPSC because your state exam or your other exam is lined up. So yes, both of them are equally important. Plan so that you are combining. This is a plus sign, not a cross. This is like, you're combining both of them together. That's how you're supposed to plan. You can't substitute one with another. Okay, yes, the study hours can be increased, decreased depending on that. For example, if a prelims or any state service exam is coming nearby, I would increase my hours. I would study for definitely 8 to 10 hours. And out of that 8-10 hours, it could be that maximum percentage, for example, 6-7 hours is going for prelims and something of mains I'm preparing. So you can modify the hours also like that. But it really doesn't mean that if you're giving any other exam, then you will not think about UPSC. No, it should keep on happening. For example, if you're studying 10 hours for this, so maybe 6 hours you devote for this exam and you study 4 hours for UPSC. That's also you're supposed to manage because you have decided. UPSC is not going to change the date. UPSC is not going to grow lenient towards you just because you had other commitments going on in the previous year. So for the year of 2027, this year is very, very important. It's really, really important for you. It can make and break your attempt. So please study, please plan. This was just, a sort of, you could say, a peek into how you should be planning your year, your months. It wasn't a detailed strategy. But what I could recommend is that I have already conducted a springboard session for the prelims, right? So those students who are appearing this year in prelims, I have already conducted a strategy session called as Springboard. It's a 3-day session. You should also be watching it because you will have a perspective that how I should be approaching prelims. I have covered the basic sources and, how to approach previous year questions, multiple revisions, everything related to prelims has been covered. So if you see those strategy sessions, you would have an understanding that what mistakes you should be avoiding. And depending on those strategy sessions, depending on the learnings and the knowledge that you have gained from there, you can plan your Feb, March, April, May. So that you're not committing mistake over here. You're not wasting time over these months. Okay. So on this note, I hope this was useful. You're able to at least get a bird's eye view, a overall broader perspective on how you should be managing your next year's attempt. And on that note, I wish you all the best. Please keep on studying. Please plan it out. Use a planner, use a diary. Be accountable of each and every hour, where you're spending it, how you're spending it. Okay. Next year doesn't mean that you have got a lot of time to waste. No, it doesn't happen like that. Okay. It should not be like that. So all the best. Study well. Take care. Bye bye.